Show where you know Zoe knows. Are the brooms going to come out of the pantry this NBA season, this NBA Finals in Cleveland? Potentially so. Golden State Warriors, they're up 2-0. Now, this finals, as I watch, it's the fourth straight times these teams have met in the NBA Finals. It's become boring, monotonous, and predictable because we think to ourselves, we know Golden State will be the eventual champion. But LeBron James may have something to say about that in game three. However, game one was pretty interesting. The Warriors were on the ropes. LeBron James dropped 50. Kevin Love even balled. I hate when people say LeBron has no help because Kevin Love balled. Did his thing. He even had a ball fade going on. I think he had 20 something points. Kevin Love was the guy who I said had to come to the rescue of LeBron James. He did that. Now, the play everybody remembers in this game was J.R. Smith's clueless dribble when he catches the ball on a missed George Hill free throw. We can't forget the fact and neglect the fact that George Hill did miss a free throw. And J.R. Smith gets the rebound, should have gone back up, would have potentially gotten fouled by Kevin Durant. However, what's he do? Dribbles to the opposite side of their basket, dribbling towards the opponent's basket, towards half court, and then realizes, oh no, I need to pass it. The game's tied. Now, when I see this, I think to myself, JR, what were you thinking? Time and time again, JR has been a running joke in the NBA because of his attitude, the way he takes his shirt off. He took his shirt off, had it off for it seemed like 3 months after the Cavs won their NBA Finals championship a few years ago. But this was something that people will go on to remember if the Cavs do in fact get swept or even if it's a gentleman's sweep. Because this game one last week was the Cavs' only opportunity, in my opinion, to steal a game in Oracle Arena. Now, Taco Bell is a special, still a game, still a road game, still a taco. Now, J.R. Smith, you cost the entire United States of America free tacos. You should be ashamed. You feel bad about that. My biggest issue with this entire debacle was the fact that LeBron James, he calls himself a leader, always picks up his teammates. Why did he seem to be so distraught after this? You have to find a way to muster up the strength to cover up that emotion and let your teammates know that, hey, no big deal. It's fine. LeBron James, I know you had you had a game for the ages. I totally get that. However, what you have to realize is that everybody's looking at you. And you could have diffused that moment by simply saying, hey, man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to win in overtime. We're going to win in overtime. And give your team back that confidence. But when you're on the bench, I don't see Jordan or Kobe on the bench in that instance, clutching their head and looking like the world's over, like they've already lost the game going into overtime. They would see it as another opportunity, which is why we talk about that killer instinct. LeBron, you're not fooling me with this outstanding 15th season because that was a display of what many people have spoken about you for many years. Because crunch time is not just about performing in the moment, it's about keeping your emotions in check. And obviously that affected LeBron James down the stretch. Now, they got blown out in overtime. Tristan Thompson and Draymond Green had the extracurriculars. I'm not sure what Draymond said. I know Tristan was salty. He got ejected from the game for the inadvertent elbow when he tried to close out on Sean Livingston's shot. But he did kind of get slick and sneaky with the old push the ball in the face, slap my hand off, and punch Draymond on the low. He's lucky he didn't get suspended. They say the beef's over, but I'm not quite sure. Game two, the blowout continued. The chef cooked up. We were wondering when the chef would really put up a fresh meal for our eyes, for the fans, and that's what he did in game two. The man had 33 points. He had a finals record of 9 3-pointers, passes Ray Allen, and he will eventually pass Ray Allen for the most 3-pointers in NBA history. Mark my words. KD had 26. Clay had 20 with a bad ankle that J.R. Smith so carelessly rolled into in game one. I really think that this Warriors team, they're focused. The Cavs lost belief in themselves after game one. You can't put all your chips on one road game. You have to move forward. It was evident in game two that still affected them. And the comical MVP chants for J.R. Smith by the Golden State fans was epic. They had every right to do so because J.R. Smith was definitely the most valuable player for Golden State in game one because of that mistake. He gave them another opportunity, which they then were able to pull away from LeBron and the boys. Game three, the Cavs are back at home tomorrow night. Now, how will LeBron James respond? How will this team respond? They've gone down 2-0. They have only lost one home game in the playoffs this season. That was to the Pacers in round one. Now, can LeBron James pull himself up by the bootstraps and walk through this mud? Because it will get muddy when you play against this Golden State Warriors team. It will get muddy. Obviously, it's clear to me that LeBron will probably not be back in Cleveland next year because it's just too frustrating. And he's already fulfilled his promise of winning them a championship. So they can't burn jerseys no more. They can't talk about him anymore. He did what he was supposed to do. Now, the Eagles in the NFL, let's talk about them. They won their first Super Bowl this year. Yay. That's awesome. Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, the dual quarterbacks that helped contribute to that Super Bowl win. Nick Foles more so in the playoffs and down the stretch of the season because Carson Wentz got hurt. They were supposed to go to the White House. Trump uninvited them due to the potential lack of attendance that may occur by players. Now, he mentioned the national anthem in his statement that was released by the White House. I think this is terrible for sports in general because the Eagles are just the first in a list of a long list of individuals and teams who have decided not to attend the White House. I'm a big guy that's about tradition. So this is a tradition that I wish could have been kept up. It's sad to see that so many individuals do not particularly care for this administration. So they say, you know what, we ain't going to the White House. But the Eagles, they have every right to express themselves the way they want. And, it's just sad. This is all divisive to uninvite a champion and say, if all you guys aren't coming, then nobody can come. When I could have sworn there was an instance in which Martellus Bennett and Tom Brady did not attend the White House. So I don't know. It seems like everything's made up along the way with this administration. And like I said, this is a sports show, so I don't like to get political. But yeah, it's just pretty interesting. Now, baseball-wise, Kyler Murray's quarterback for Oklahoma. We've seen what he can do as a dual threat on the football field, but he is a baseball player too. He was drafted 9th overall by the Oakland Athletics in the first round of the MLB draft last night. What sport does he choose? Now, baseball can be a little bit tricky because we all know that they have the farm system. You got to go single A, double A, triple A, and you may end up being a 34-year-old rookie by the time it's all said and done once you do get drafted and enter that feeder system. However, Kyler Murray's shown that he has a lot of speed. I think he's a guy that can hit the ball and steal bases. He's quick running the bases. He's got an arm, obviously, to play quarterback. So what does he choose eventually? Not particularly sure. Jeff Samardzija, he chose baseball over football. I think he's been a somewhat mediocre pitcher in the major leagues, but he continues to have a job. So we'll have to see what happens to Kyler Murray. But shout out to the man because we know, Lord knows, it's going to be hard to impress those Oklahoma fans at quarterback after following in the footsteps of a Heisman Trophy winner, Baker Mayfield. Now, NHL-wise, the Caps lead the Vegas Knights 3-1. And the series may be over. Ovechkin will cement his legacy and as a great, and I think that's, I got to be honest. I got a little bit thrown off because my lovely sweet thing just brought me down to work ID. I lost it. So I'm glad we got that back. Now, can the Vegas Knights come back? That's something that I'm worried about because I really wanted them to actually win the Stanley Cup because of everything that happened in Las Vegas over the past couple months. But if they don't, this will be a first Cup victory for Alexander Ovechkin, and he needs it. We all know he needs it because we talk about the Sidney Crosbys. We talk about the Wayne Gretzkys. Ovechkin needs this. And I think they get it. They're up 3-1. I think they close them out. Next show, we will definitely wrap. Thank you for watching the Zono Sports Show, where I always love bringing you guys the juice, and I'm about to head out to the office, but in the meantime, make sure you check out Game 3, and let's sit back and watch the emotions of the Cavs and see if these bench players are inspired. We'll see if Jordan Clarkson stops playing like he just got moved up from the JV to the varsity because he hasn't scored on 28 opportunities to get an assist, and he hasn't converted any for anybody. I don't even know if I passed this man the ball. But in the meantime, thank you for watching the Zono Sports Show, where Zonos.